You know, you were talking on the press conference and about the responsibility of being Elvis. But there's a big responsibility of being a myth. But for me, in the film, it's even more difficult to be a human. You know, like a normal guy. You know, how did you handle? You know, for you, what was more?
Those two things are married. They're both they're two sides of the same coin, and the complexity of any human is a really difficult thing to nail down. Even just looking at myself, it's a hard thing. This is why we go to therapy. You know, we're trying to figure this out, and so then to look at another person, and then on top of that, somebody who lived an extraordinary life and now has been idolized and is so beloved or misunderstood. I felt such a responsibility for all of that. But like you say, it's his personality, it's his spirit that I felt the most responsibility to, so finding that truth, you know, of his soul. Yeah.
What I find really beautiful in the film is his spiritual way of dealing with music. You know what I mean? Not religious, but you know, a way of like communicating.
He was a deeply spiritual man. He was quite a deep person. He was constantly searching for truth, and yeah, I'm really moved when I get to see the scenes in the film of him as a young boy going to the gospel tent, you know, and those moments of rapture that you experience with music. And I felt that when I went to Nashville and we got to record these gospel singers, and I was so fortunate to get to be there as we were doing these recordings, and we had 30 of the most incredible gospel singers. And as they broke into the songs that are in the film, in that scene, I just got chills all up and down my body and you feel the soul of it. And it all starts to make sense, how you can be lost in the music like that.
I know a very famous rock star friend of mine who, very famous for the way he moves. And he said, you know, this rock star friend of mine would practice his moves. You know, Michael Jackson practiced his moves. Fred Astaire practiced his moves. Elvis didn't stand in front of a mirror and make up choreography. He just kind of felt it. He did feel it. And I think that's something to do with spirituality. I think he just had to get himself in the mood and he'd sort of have some moves. But he let the music, he become the music, which is really something to do with gospel and Pentecostal, the Pentecostal experience.
I'm Brazilian, and in Brazil, music's really related to spirituality, even if it's samba, you know.
Exactly. I mean, you organically, inherently move from childhood to rhythms. And storytelling is always in rhythms. And so the rhythms in the film are very, very energetic, and they move forward, you know, because Elvis did. Like, it had swagger when he's got swagger. When he comes on the stage, you know, when he's cool, he's cool. It's still in the moments when he's actually caught or trapped at night alone, or when he's on pills, you know, it's still in these moments, or when, you know, his wife leaves him.
There are some who'd make me out to be the villain of this here story. Let's don't let a good thing